Hi, this is Ushin, and welcome to our weekly podcast video for Weiss Schwarz for December 8th to December 12th. And today we're joined by the Night Shadow and Busan.
Hello.
Hi.
And Busan will start us off with reading the Terraformer TD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess he's gonna keep it out. Anyways, we'll just go ahead and read the first card. Asian Giant Hornet Komachi Kishi. Blue 3/2 10k 2 soul. Modify the bug trait. When you have two other modified characters, this gains 2k, and the card in front of this loses a soul.
2k is actually a rather large bonus than normal. It's normally 1k, right?
It's normally 1k, yeah.
Yep.
And those cards are usually 500 power less than
so
a standard.
I don't think that's bad then.
It's a TD. It's a TD
yeah.
card, so it's
pretty good for
It's pretty good for TD technically.
That's what I'm saying.
It's no healer, but 12k is quite a number as a permanent power. Well, almost permanent power.
And another thing I wanted to add is I think that this TD is actually pretty good for this effect where you get -1 soul is actually pretty good against beginners. Considering how a lot of if beginners are playing each other, they're usually like 2/2 9k with 2 souls and stuff. So and +2 soul combos, so it sort of helps out.
It sort of doesn't in a way because you want them to overswing. Like that's the problem that newbies have. Like you're at 3/4, all right, swing for 9. Like they and reducing their damage actually doesn't help that much. But for those that are trying to do precise damage, -1 soul is rather interesting because I'd like to actually see a level 3 that has -1 soul, and when this card is front attack, check top card, you may put in the waiting room.
Disgusting. That's just
you never know. They might just make it in future
girlfriends.
And I think that might be an actual playable -1 soul.
That would be playable. That would be a playable -1 soul actually. Most -1 soul right now is either has to have some really good other effect or just not played at all.
Yeah, the -1 soul that's playable nowadays there's like clock kick with the Climax combo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just Nico and the one in
Haruka.
Phantom. Haruka.
Isn't one of the Little Busters?
Yeah, that's what I said. Haruka.
Okay.
But
basically, all the -1 soul cards are all cards that can kick the clock. That's really the only reason why they even play in the first place.
It's not because of the -1 soul.
It's not the -1 soul.
But it helps.
It helps. Sometimes.
Anyways,
next card. Members of Bugs 2, the Thien. Blue 2/1 7k modified bug trait. When you control a card named Komachi, this card gains 1500, and when you have two other modified characters, this gains another k. So a potential 9/5
Question: how many Komachi cards are in the trial deck?
Besides the level 3, at least 2.
I think the level 1, and I think that's it.
I'm not keeping track of the TD for Terraformer, so I'm not actually sure.
I didn't get to check it before.
I think it's around 4.
Okay.
That's just my random guess. I don't know.
Oh.
There might be a support. There might be a support named Komachi.
I don't.
No, that's not. No. I lied.
Support's the girl.
No, the girl. It's a girl. Wait.
Never mind.
Never mind. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
He's probably a vanilla or like
he'll probably end up being a 2/8k. You really need that Komachi card to get any bigger than that.
Yeah. Well, that's I guess still fine for
TD.
TD.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways.
Alright, let's move on.
Sleeping Chrono Mid Himura Ichiro. Green 1/165 modified a bug trait. This card has hand encore.
What can I say? Nothing.
It's better than a vanilla.
Yay.
Yeah, okay.
I guess.
There's nothing much to say.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I've been power creeped. Iron Master has that same exact card as rare.
Hey, Miku had it in the TD.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever. Different series, different sets. Whatever. Okay. Let's just move on. Members of Bugs 2 show Mimi. Blue 2/1 25 modified bug trait. This card is just a 3k counter. We move on. And the next card is a Climax, the undefeated. Plus trigger 2 soul. I want to say it. This card is a Stockholm 1 soul from the waiting room for blue character. And now we move on.
Because that's kind of boring. Alright, so first off, we have Glorious First Carrier Division Kaga. This is a level 3 cost 2 9,500 power with the ship girl and aircraft carrier traits. For every other ship girl you control, this card gets 500 power. When this comes into play from your hand, choose a ship girl in your clock, put it on stage, then take 1 damage. Okay. This card, you grab any ship girl from your clock and put it into play. How good do you think this is?
Right.
It depends on cards, like, do you really even need to play on effects? So any level 3 in there is probably just dead cards, besides another Kaga.
Well, from my memory, Kentai's level 3 has a lot of on-play from hand or change, so it's not that good.
When we're talking about level 3 power-wise, we have to talk, not just level 3, we had to talk about cards that are not on play but has some effects outside of that. So like supports, I suppose, like Junyo or the old Soru, maybe even the Chiyoda, the 2/2 Chiyoda.
I
know that's pushing it. That's pushing it.
Yeah, definitely 2/2 Chiyoda's a good card to choose. Yes.
I mean, like, if you're playing more copies of these, technically you could pull 2 copies of this at once.
It's sort of like a search on play, except it pulls it to stage, which is kind of nice, comparison to a lot of the other effects, right?
Well, it's more. I think it's could be more of a comparison to Himino from the Capo 10th anniversary, except you don't take. The only difference is it happens anyways, and you don't lose it. And Himino doesn't not require top deck to clock, but because that's his thing. It's a
that's a climax combo.
Yeah, that's a climax combo.
Right? Just like Ricky from the TD and in Little Busters anime, same thing. They require climax combo. This one actually just pulls it to stage, and it's funny that you mentioned the old Soryu, because I think the new Soryu is probably the best possible, because its on-play ability is rather mediocre, which is just look at the top card and you may put it at the bottom, and it's a -1 soul. So you can grab a -1 soul from your clock to stage without really having a downside, and it's also a 2-coster. So I think that would be the best possible.
I think the new Hiyu might be better for that.
The new Hiryu?
Yeah, I don't think it has a real on-play effect either.
That's true, but I mean, like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that card. It's 4K and that's it.
Yeah, this card, it's a free +1 really, so you can't complain about it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Your choices are limited. Chances are you'll be pulling cards you don't need at all. You should be doing it because it's a +1. It's at least a good oversized card at least.
Oh yeah.
It's so oversized at least.
Like, how many oversized cards are there in Kantai? Not many.
There's
Musashi and maybe if you want to count Akagi technically, but Okay, let's move on. Mitsuki class destroyer number 3, Yayoi, is a red character, level 0, cost 0, 1000 power with the ship girl and destroyer traits. When there are 2 markers underneath this card, or more of course, this card becomes an 1000 assist character, and you can tap this card to choose one Mitsuki class destroyer number 1 Mitsuki, or Mitsuki class destroyer number 2 Kisaragi from your waiting room and put it underneath it as a marker.
Now these are old cards, right?
Yes. Mitsuki class destroyer number 1 Mitsuki is a 3500 that gives the opposite character +1 soul. And Kisaragi is a 3500 that when reversed, your opponent chooses one of their characters and give it to 1000. The Kisaragi is obviously more playable.
Yeah, Kisaragi is obviously more playable. I'm not sure. I honestly don't think this is worth.
Even 1000 assists, you don't think it's worth?
It takes 2 turns, and even it takes at least 2 turns. Even then, you still have to set it up. So I'm gonna assume at least 3 to 4 turns to even get this card set it up. That means 3 or 4 turns. This card does nothing.
To be fair, Kisaragi is a 3500 you'll probably play on the first turn, especially if you run 4, right?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. What if your opponent does something to it, then you're like, yeah.
Oh yeah, bouncing or attack the back row. That kind of sucks, and but you assist is not guaranteed. However, if you're not facing bounce or back row attacking, then I think this is actually one of our best assists, which is kind of sad in a way.
It's better than Jitsu at least, I believe, because
Jitsu is kind of interesting because if you play it last, you would avoid its downside for at least 1 turn. It's 1000 assist always.
Yeah, but after that, it starts becoming demerit every time you hit it. And yes, you can check the top, but once it starts showing climaxes, your whole hand is dead.
Well, unless you run Naka.
Unless you run Naka, okay, or cards that changes on the climax phase, then
Yeah, or Brainstorm or stuff like that. I think just the deck build itself relies on Jinsu. Well, this one, the deck build and pulling out the marker. So I think Yayoi is actually worse than Jinsu.
Well, okay, yeah, it makes sense because Jinsu is just a one card, which is it's a standalone card. This one requires at least two other cards.
Yeah.
At least two other cards. It does not require both Mitsuki and Kisaragi. I'll be kind of sad.
But it does require 2 markers. So
it does still require 2 markers. That means that you had to dedicate at least 3 cards to get this 1,000 power.
I do like the throwback that they did to these cards, especially because Kisaragi and Mitsuki usually don't see play at the moment. But if anybody really wants to take advantage of this, I think it's a nice throwback. Obviously, I won't run it, but... Alright, let's move on. Our next card is Mitsuki Class Destroyer number 4, Uzuki. So when this card attacks in the Climax, Boo, oh goodness, more of these chants. Is in your Climax zone, you can play. You can take the top card of your deck, put it in your clock. If you do, salvage a ship girl from your waiting room and add it to hand. Climax is a 2K one.
It's +1. I can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that.
True, but
okay.
How reliable are level 0 Climax combos?
Bad.
We discussed this before, right?
They're bad.
It has to be either amazing or has to be good, and if we want a +1 at level 0, we have Inazuma.
Yeah, I guess so. You also run that risk of not being able to use Hatsukaze.
Yeah. Not only that, but Mitsuki, not Mitsuki, Murasame takes less setup than this.
It's only a 2-card setup.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but the climaxes aren't exactly, a lot in the deck. And do you really want to be playing climaxes at level 0, especially when you have to give 2k and 1 soul to a character? Do you want to be running them to level 1 immediately? And if you do so, then
you don't have to put the 2k and 1 soul in a card that's attacking.
I know. I'm just saying, usually, when you're running this kind of climax combo, you won't have a back row. Obviously, if you have a back row, you want to put it on that one. But if you don't have the option, it's kind of crappy. Because then you're hitting them to level 1 earlier, and Shimakaze becomes a little less useful.
That means that goes down to the deck. Like, if I play 2k1 soul on my Outer Master deck, I'll totally put the 2k1 soul on my back row, because my back row is probably going to be Makoto or Global. But that's totally different. Let's just pass that. Let's just pass that around.
Alright, second Destroyer Division Command Ship, Harusame Kai. This is a 0/0, 2,000 power with the Ship Girl and Destroyer traits. When you play any Climax to your Climax zone, this card gets 1,500 power. And when this card attacks, you can pay 1 and ditch 1 to search for a Ship Girl.
That first one is just really just flavor. It's just there. Anytime an effect like that shows up, it's just there. If you play Climax, that's great. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, I would have preferred this being a 2,500, just like the others. But oh well. 2,000 is fine. It's the same power as a pay 1, ditch 1 on play search. And if this somehow survives, then hey, you get a second search, which is not bad. Do you think that there are enough quality stuff at level 0 that you can actually squeeze this in, or not?
I wouldn't know that.
Like we have a level 2
it will make a great last ditch throw on my Climax out of my stock in hand at least.
Well, yeah, I completely agree. Like, there's not enough of the ditch on attack abilities, which really kind of is annoying, or pay out on attack. And this card does both, which is, I think, an interesting and surprising, actually, effect. I think this card is playable in the meta build, especially because Blue's getting a big boost this set. I will have to playtest this, but I'm very certain that in my new build, I'm going to be running about 3 of these.
I've picked that capo. I have Lucifer. I run 2. I only need to run 2. That being said, that I only run 2. That card can live several turns.
This card, we don't really have a level 0 counter. We have a level 0 on play. Interceptor, but
no, that's not what I mean. Because I can get that searcher up to 55 level 0.
Well, this one can get to 5,500 at 0 on attack. Well, 65 actually, but
not on attack, on defense and attack.
That's the thing. We can't do it on defense. The highest we can go on defense is what? 1k at the back and 2 interceptors make this 5k, and that's using a lot of hand. So no, it's not a reliable defensive measure. So this probably won't live for more than 1 turn, but it will do its job when you need it to. Just make sure to run enough copies that you'll have it in hand late game.
Or just keep it in your hand till late game. Of course, its only downside is if you keep it till late game, that means it's 1 card that probably won't run over any cards, but sometimes that doesn't even matter.
Well, just run bounce triggers in your deck. You'll eventually get an open lane.
Nah, just run Junyo. You'll be fine.
That too. Alright, moving on. We have Kagero class Destroyer number 12, Isokaze Kai. For every marker underneath this card, what +1 level plus 1500, and when this card reverses a character, you can choose a ship girl from your waiting room and put it underneath this as a marker. Hey, Wakaba, welcome back. Hi, Laharl, welcome back. As noted, this is a carbon copy of the Sky Laharl card and the Vivid Red Operation Wakaba card, except obviously for ship girls.
Honestly, it's been proven before. It's not. It's actually not. It sounds really overpowered, but it's actually not that good at all.
I still run them because I like that effect, but I understand that there are limitations. Like, especially for example in Vivid Red, where we don't have a level 0 counter at all, so you have to like pray and hope that it survives.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it has to live through the level 0 game, and if it doesn't, it still has to kill a card that's at least 1500 and lower, assuming it has no support.
Well, one of the things I like to do with this is that, they ran out of Suicider first turn. All right, kill it with this. Because, for those that don't know, you get the marker first before the Suicide effect takes place, and so it will be +1 level and not able to be suicided.
What was it cost 0 Suicider?
First.
Oh, no, those are rare by now.
Well, versus Zeranosu Kaima, that's completely useless, and versus the Railgun Brainstorm, that's obviously useless as well. So, I understand its limitations, but I like this kind of card. I probably shouldn't, but I like it. It's definitely not playable, but I like this.
Some obvious counters to this is once it gets its first marker, either just don't play cards until you hit level 1, because there's no way that they'll if they have nothing to reverse, it cannot get any bigger, or just play cards to get either run away from it or becomes way too big that the card cannot deal with it.
Trying to remember right now. I thought I saw an event that actually puts characters from our clocks into play, both of us.
What?
They'll just probably play in the back row or play it over a card that's already in the back row.
Good point. Never mind. Even if that card doesn't... no, I think that's a different set. Never mind. But yeah, this card is bad, but I like it. I really do. Just I like this kind of effect. I know it's bad. At the very least, comparison to Vivid Red, we do have a level 0 counter. It's an on-stage interceptor, but...
It's not gonna help.
Nice.
It's not gonna help very much once your opponent hits level 1 to like play no other cards.
Well, of course, that's usually the counter to it. But hey, I'll gladly do that in order to prevent them from gaining stock. And a few decks nowadays are running a bit more 1/1s than they would like, and versus those decks, I'd like to take advantage of that. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, this card is bad. Please don't run it. I'm gonna be running it because I like it, but I recognize it's a bad card. All right, moving. Oh, hi. All right, so Yoko class heavy cruiser number 4, Haguro Kaini. This is level 2, cost 1, 7500 power with a ship girl and heavy cruiser trait. When you play the Climax 5th Squadron Haguro heading out, and this is a 1k1 gate trigger, and this card is in your front row, you can search your deck for any ship girl character and reveal it, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. When another ship girl you control is front attacked, you can send this to the waiting room to give that battling character 3000 power. So, interestingly enough, this card can actually be activated in the back row, just like all the other interceptors, which I completely misread the first time I was playing Kantai, which is very interesting. So, what do you think about the intercept ability?
So good.
It's fine. At least it kind of 3+3k counter, although it's not really. It's not really there. It's just actually technically a standard 3k counter. It would suck if your opponent triggers a wind trigger and then they'll be like, "Yep, just wind trigger it. There you go. You lost a card for absolutely no reason." Yeah,
well, it's a wind trigger only if you use the effect first and then they trigger a wind trigger. But you obviously have to weigh that risk because by the time you're level 2, you've probably seen most of your opponent's deck, so you can see how many wind triggers they're running. So it's a matter of gauging the interest. Now, I think that this card is not playable, even though the intercept ability is better than a 2/1 3k counter on more occasions than not. Particularly because you get a stock for attacking with this card. So essentially, it's like a free 3k backup because you paid 1 for it.
The only problem is the opponent will see it coming. They'll totally try to get around it.
Of course.
If not, they'll just hit the card itself and then deal with the card next turn.
Well, that's good because you had kept the card alive, and that's kind of this card's point, right?
It also depends the other card is too. Whether it's a card that could top deck another card when it's not doesn't not have to actually battle the card.
Yeah,
those are quite few though.
Those are quite rare at level 2. Now, if you're playing those at level 3, from level 3, like the -1 levels, like I don't know, let's take the level 3 Vita from Nanoha. Sure, But like I said, it's matchup dependent, and you obviously have to know your opponent's set and what you can see what they're running, so you can prepare in advance. No, the reason I think this card is bad is because of its power level. The main thing to remember here is that your Climax slots are limited, and if you're not playing this card with the Climax combo, I think that there are going to be some problems. To be fair, this is a playable gate trigger, so there is not to say that Suzuya is bad, but it's its own niche deck, and at least this is continually playable one, regardless of whether you are using it for its Climax combo or not. It's basically borderline. Like if there are a few more cards that really help out this kind of archetype, and or there are cards that you really want to protect that, I don't know, can't be targeted, or maybe you're just into a large ship construction deck where they can't be targeted anyways, then maybe this card might be viable. But I don't like this card a lot. I think it's borderline. I think it's almost there to playable, but not quite. Alright, so, Alright, let's move on. Sendai Class Light Cruiser number 1, Sendai Kaini. This is a level 2, cost 1 green character with 8500 power and the ship-grown light cruiser traits. While on stage, this card has -1 level. When this card comes into play, you can ditch a card to add the Star Shell event from your winning room to your hand. That's the old event that you can look at the top 2, and you can give 1k to your guys and -1k to your opponents, front row. And when this card attacks, mill the top card of your deck. If that card is a Climax, all your characters get +1 soul until the end of the turn.
Your +2 soul trigger just suddenly became a +3 controllable trigger.
Thoughts on this card?
It's interesting.
The -1 level can become a rather big demerit considering the number of level 1 suicides has been, kind of just floating all over the place.
Exactly. Sendai's already weak to them.
The Star Shell thing, well, it's Sendai. I'm not absolutely, blown by this.
Yeah.
If anyone knows Kantai, Sendai is like the person to go to if you want to hear about night battles. The whole mill thing can help if you hit a Climax. At least you
didn't trigger it.
At least you didn't trigger it, right? And all your characters kind of gain a soul out of it, even if it might be, say, a book trigger or a treasure bar. Cards that don't actually give a soul.
Well, unlike the previous card that worked with Star Shell, I think this one actually does have a use with Star Shell because the top 2 look actually does matter for this card. What I don't like, what I do like is that it enables the Sendai deck even more. The previous Sendai card gave +2 soul to every level 1 character or lower, including your opponents. And, well, hey, this is a level 1 character, so you can still run this in your level 1 and under deck. The Sendai Soul Rush deck. Well, obviously, because this is Sendai. Now, other than that, I think this is just a gimmick card, and is not going to be played outside of those decks. Because seriously, who focuses on night battles when you have battleships? Anyways, second card, the second card of the trio is the Sendai Class Light Cruiser number 2, Jinsu Kaini. This is a level 2, cost 1, 8000 power with the ship-grown light cruiser traits. When this card attacks and the Climax Jinsu heading out, which is a 2k1, is in your Climax zone, you can take a damage. Well, put the top card of your deck into clock. If you do, every other character you control gets 3500 power and +1 soul.
I'm not sure about... if you're looking for a power rush, sure.
Yeah, power rush.
We have better power rushes.
I actually don't think you do.
No. Okay, yeah. But, you're right. Yeah, no, we don't.
Because if you look at it, it's a 3, assuming full front row of like whatever cards, it's about 10.5k power plus another 12.k power with
no. All your other characters. This card doesn't get the 3500.
It doesn't?
No.
Oh, no. Wow. Okay, so 9k and 3 soul in one turn, which is kind of sad because I could actually do the same thing with Go My Way.
Yeah. Sorry, Idol Master creep, power creep here. No, just joking. Yeah, this card is. I don't think it's good. I don't think this card is good.
I don't think it's good either, honestly. The 1 damage for lower power and extra soul. Actually, making a 2k1 soul into kind of a 1k soul to everything is kind of nifty, but
Yay! But there are better options. Like I think I can name one in Idol Master.
Honestly,
better.
Sorry, what? One in what?
I can name one in Idol Master that's better.
Don't tell me you can tell me say Go My Way again.
No, Little Match Girl.
That's different. You had to pay one.
But this is the same thing. If one stock and take 1 damage is pretty much the same thing in terms of resources.
I also think taking one more damage is kind of more precious resource as far as going to level 2 and higher. But
yeah, of course. I mean, like, but I'm just saying, like, it's technically still the same resource cost as like if you look at comparatives across Weiss Schwarz, paying 1 and taking 1 damage is treated as the same, even though we would know that there really aren't, because it's taking 1 damage is better at level 0 and 1 and worse at level 2 and 3. But yeah, this card is a thing. I don't like it because
it's gonna take a
seriously. What Climax combos are you gonna run with this? Like, if you're gonna run this Climax combo, what else are you running in your deck? If you're running Shimakaze, that's like 6 at least 2K1s. If you're running 4 of this Climax combo, which I really don't think you should, then you're running 8 2K1s. That's ridiculous.
But at least you know you will never run out of cards every time you play a Climax.
2K1.
You'll start stocking them all. Trust me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know from experience because of Kyokyo.
No, this card is not playable. Please don't play this. Unless you really like Jinsu. In which case, hey, you should be using her 1-0.
It's probably here. Honestly, her 1-0 is probably better. Unless your top deck is a Climax.
It's kind of sad, actually.
Unless your top deck is a Climax, then the card is your worst nightmare.
Well, the reason I say it's bad is not because of its effect, because its effect is actually not that bad. And taking 1 damage at level 2 is passable. I mean, like, some people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, actually. But it's okay. Though the problem is that it takes up Climax spots in Kantai, and you don't really have a lot of those. You're really already hard-pressed as it is. Moving on. Sendai class Light Cruiser number 3, Nakakaini. Okay, level 2 costs 1, 9,000 power with the Ship Girl and Light Cruiser traits. If you have 1 or less cards in your clock, you can't. This card can't attack. And when this card attacks with the Climax, Naka-chan is the number 1 highlight as a center. Choose a card in your clock, add it to your hand. If you do, take the top card of your deck, put it in your clock. The Climax combo is a 1K1 bag trigger?
Wow.
Bag triggers are back?
This is why she gets scrapped. This is why. This is why.
Really?
Well, yeah,
really?
We really thought that the Bushiroad kind of scrapped the whole treasure bag thing, but apparently did not. It's just not been showing up for quite a while.
If anyone's wondering about that scrap joke, it's because Naka is the most
commonly dropped. Most
common drop, yeah. And she's usually exploited for the fact that she drops a lot of resources when scrapped. 2411 is her code name.
Honestly,
this card is definitely better than Sendai and Jinsu, I'll tell you that much, but 1K1 bag triggers, now that's interesting. Where does bag triggers fit in Kantai? I actually don't know.
I don't think it fits anywhere in the deck. You don't have any real high cost cards except the new Yamato.
Oh no, but that's not the point of the bag trigger in this set. If there is a point to the bag trigger, it's for compression, and obviously you want to pay those bag triggers out, obviously. I think this is much more playable than the other two. That doesn't mean that this is a good card by any stretch of the means, but at least it does something good.
At least it makes Star Shell a little bit viable, the treasure bag, because then if your top deck is a treasure bag, then you know what the next card is going to be stocked, and you're going to be a Climax. You'll be like, nope, fuck this.
Yeah.
You're just going to end turn right there.
Exactly. But you're running a mediocre card to make a mediocre card playable. That's not worth it.
You'll probably be playing it if you play a Sendai-based deck anyways.
Well, if you're running the Sendai Sisters, then sure. I mean, and if you really like the idol Naka, then hey, go for it. Other than that, I think this card belongs in the scrap heap, just like all the other Nakas. Alright, moving on. Kongo class battleship number 3, Haruna Kaini. This is a level 3 cost 2, 10,000 power with a ship girl and battleship traits. When this comes into play, look at up to the top 3 cards of your deck, choose one of them, add it to your hand, then put any cards remaining into the waiting room. When this card attacks in the Climax, if you're fine with Haruna, I will be your partner. It's in your Climax zone. This is a 1K1 comeback trigger. You can choose one card in your opponent's waiting room and put on top of their deck. Then this card gets 2,500 power and the following ability until your opponent's next turn. This card can't be targeted by your opponent's effects. So, what do you think?
The Climax combo is playable. I mean, like, it's a 13.5 on its own, 12.5 on your opponent's turn. That means it could possibly live an extra turn. Cannot be targeted means that anything that's like wind triggers or stuff cannot really target it. And it becomes a bit harder for cards like Nico and Yori to be able to successfully send this card to clock.
Mm-hmm. Completely agreed with all those options. Now, here's the thing. What else does it do?
You have to look at the top three. It's a plus one.
Plus one, yeah.
If you look at the top three, but you could choose any of them. Technically, that means it has a much better chance of getting this Climax combo.
That's true. It does have something to do with its look at top three, unlike the trial deck Akagi, which doesn't.
So I honestly think it's playable. Maybe with along the old Congo. The first one of the regular one, obviously.
The regular Congo will never be played again.
Oh yeah, you're probably just gonna play the Tea Time Congo.
Yes, because Tea Time Congo is infinitely more better, and it's the only Congo card that I repeat, will not attack in any way, because I recognize that it's a good card. All right, moving on. I think that, my thoughts on this card is that it's okay, but it won't be run because there are way better level 3s.
I think it's decent, but the fact it's not, the top deck is not really a permanent damage, and unless you're siding at level 2, it won't matter too much. Sometimes I won't say it won't matter because there are cases where I top deck a card, it was the god-saving card.
So it will matter at times, but it's too inconsistent for it to be reliable. You're better off literally running.
It's more of a. It's probably more of a defensive.
Sorry,
it's kind of more of a defensive card.
Yeah, it's something that if you like playing defense, which I'm surprised you're still playing Weiss, but yeah, that's an interesting card for you. But yeah, this is not something I would play. Well, continuing on, yes, we have this many cards. Yugumo, Class Destroyer number 17, Hayashimo. Yellow character, 0/0, 3500 power with the Ship Girl and Destroyer traits. When this card becomes reversed in battle, you cannot use Encore this turn. This includes your Encore pay 3 that is on all characters.
Terrible, I say. If it's early game, I guess it's fine, but
it's okay.
This card actually was said to be the best merit for a 3500 ever on some internet forums.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, like, if you leave it on your field and you have to encore something and you cannot do it,
then don't leave it on your field. That's just simple.
I think this card belongs in the same tier as the 0/0 case that you take a damage when this card gets reversed. You'll play it as a 2-of, and you will try to immediately get into your clock and level zone as soon as possible.
Honestly,
once you get out of level 0.
I honestly think there are better level zeros you can play at beater cards at level 0. Anyways, like
yeah, of course.
Ayanami was an easy one.
Ayanami is amazing.
Ayanami is an easy one.
How about the new Hibiki? 4,000 power, can't direct attack.
It's not first turn play. This one is.
I'm just saying, like there are other cards that you can play over this.
Yeah, there's definitely other cards you can play over this. It's not a card you want to leave behind. At the same time, you don't want to leave this card. It's not a card you want to leave behind on the field. At the same time, you want this card to attack a direct slot at the same time.
I wouldn't run it.
I wouldn't run this. Yeah. I mean, like the mirror is pretty good, but it's I think it's a little heavy.
All right, moving on. Yugumo Class Destroyer number 19, Kiyoshimo. Level 0, cost 0, 1500 power with the Ship Girl and Destroyer traits. As an activated ability, you can rest this card and take the top card of your deck, put in your clock. Take the top card of your deck, put underneath this as a marker, and then choose a character and you control and give it 1000 power until the end of the turn. Second act, you can rest this card, take the top card of your deck, put in your clock, and send all markers underneath this to the waiting room. Then choose a level X or lower battleship or aviation battleship from your waiting room and put it onto stage where this was. Oh yeah, you have to put this in the waiting room. X is the number of markers sent to the waiting room as part of this ability's cost. Thoughts?
It's too slow and too much damage. Unless you get this card out first turn, then maybe it has some worth if you do some decent amount of canceling. But technically, you have to take 2 damage just to get this card up to 2 markers at minimum for the battleships themselves.
Yep.
And then you had to take
play the 229K.
The earliest one I think is the 229K.
Yeah.
And the next part is you still have to take another damage just to get the card off field. And during that time, your opponent may have just hammered you all day. And at that same time, you could have probably got that 229K out without taking all that damage. I mean, like the 1K boost is okay, I guess. At least you get something out of it too.
But you'd rather see. That's the thing. Even if you want the 1K boost, there's actually a better card as a promo in the first set. Akitsumaru. Tap 2, give 1500. Like,
exactly.
That's so much better
exactly. And not only that, this card technically means that you sacrificing a slot in the back row for several turns. Not just one or two turns, several turns.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. People argue with me. I don't think it's playable. If you do play it, I hope you really have some sort of healer.
Oh goodness gracious! Now here's something that people have been mentioning. They're saying that they're gonna run a compression build at level 0 with a lot of zeros, and then at level 1 they're gonna combo this card with a Kashikai so that you always have one card in clock.
That's not possible because you have to take the account of your opponents doing damage to you.
Yeah, it's a stupid idea, and I don't agree with it whatsoever.
That's a combo that's never gonna work. It's you have to put your opponent opponent's field into matter, and no matter what kind of field you have, Akashi with Kirishima is never gonna work.
Never.
All
right, so moving on, we can agree this card is bad. All right, so moving on, Yamato class battleship number 2, Musashi Kai. This is actually our missing member, Rei Ayaki's favorite ship girl. Level 3 cost 2, 10,000 power with the ship girl and battleship traits. When this comes into play, search for any ship girl in your deck, reveal it, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. When you play the Climax, this Musashi's cannons are not just for show. This is a yellow stock 1 soul from the waiting room. And this card is in the front row. You can pay 1. If you do, choose a card from your waiting room and return it to your deck. Then shuffle your deck.
Terrible. No. Yeah, no. And honestly, I'll just play the old Musashi, even if it's restricted.
All right, so let me explain why this card is bad. The first thing that a lot of people mentioned to me on the tournament on Thursday when they were talking about this card was that, hey, this card can shuffle your Climaxes back. This is so broken. I'm like, no, you're not. No, it's not. Here's the problem. First off, shuffling your Climaxes back during your attack phase means that you're more likely to trigger them. Sure, if you miss them, that's fine, but you're more likely to hit your Climaxes when you attack. Secondly, you're running a mediocre card to accomplish something that with a crappy Climax combo. Climax card.
It's not that good.
This is not a Climax combo that's playable as a yellow stock 1 soul. A stock 1 soul one has to be a lot better than this, and it's not.
Best comparison card is Aoi from 10th Anniversary, and that is a much better Climax combo. Even because what that one does is when this card is front attack, you can take a look at the top, set it at the top for waiting room. When you play a Climax, it gains extra 1500, and when you play its Climax, set the same Climax waiting room back into the deck and shuffle it for free. The Climax is a draw 1 card, by the way.
Yeah, so I mean, just
even then, that card was already mediocre.
And this card's worse.
And that card is just worse, and this card is even worse than that. Yes, it's a 3+1.
I'm glad this is a double R, so it's just gonna be cheap to get. You have to throw in some good with the bad ones, right? So
yeah, if every set there's always has to be that one bad double R. This is probably it.
To be fair, this isn't as bad as Hiei.
I thought Hiei was a double R plus though.
That's what. No. The original Hiei is double R, and the Hiei Kai is double R plus. It's horrible. That entire set, like, it's bad. But still, this card is not that good. Please don't play this unless you really like Musashi, in which case, hey, go for it. All right, and I believe this is our final card of the week for Kantai. Hey, look at that! It's the Matsukaze Kai. Wait, hold on. Before I even continue, what is the Amatsukaze Kai doing with less power and less cost than the original Amatsukaze?
Who cares? Just go.
Okay. It was just weird. Kagero class destroyer number 9, Amatsukaze Kai. This is a level 1, cost 0, 5,000 power with the ship girl and destroyer traits. When this comes into play, you may pay 1 and take the top card of your deck and put in your clock to search for a Shimakaze class destroyer, Shimakaze, from your deck, reveal to your opponent, add this to hand, then this card gets 1,000 power. Goodness.
For those who don't know what Shimakaze class destroyer is, it's that card that combos with the 2K1 soul, and if you don't know what that card is, you obviously have not played against Kantai.
Because Shimakaze is the thing that we've been discussing this entire week. Shimakaze is a card that Climax combo, when you reverse a character, search your deck for any ship girl added to your hand. This card is a Shimakaze enabler. Now, do you think this card is playable?
Nope. Yes, honestly, because unless you already decked out of Shimikazes, it's a +1 into another +1.
I'll tell you this much. This card would definitely change the number of I-8s I run, because usually I use the I-8. Oh, on play? Alright, I'll pay 1, ditch 1, search for Shimikaze. And definitely, this card definitely takes the place of that, especially because it's a clock one, which is at level 1 is not bad. Worst case scenario...
the Nimeridon that is if you have no Shimakaze, you just took a damage just to pay 1 to give just a card a K, which you could just paid 1 for 1/1 Yahagi for the same amount of power. Add more.
But you're basically looking to combo Shimakaze off of this card, which is kind of funny. Amatsukaze's best card features Shimakaze.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what they were thinking with this card, but it's a good card because you know it's a pay 1 clock 1 for free search. Rather a really limited pool of cards, but it's a good card. So you cannot say it's bad because the card to search for is really good.
Yeah, though my only problem is that this card's an SSP.
Yeah, that's my problem too, actually. Because I actually wanted to make the Kai version you know, the sleeve I wanted, but
yeah,
it's gonna be. I realized this card's now gonna be expensive. I might have to go the cheap way instead.
No, it's not gonna be that expensive comparison to the other SSPs in Kantai. Like
just let's make a whole. 50...
Shimakaze's SSP went up.
Yes, just because this card existed. I know. Shimakaze has just went up in price.
Getting the other 3 for me is gonna be annoying.
Getting the Shimakaze price, if you don't know what it is, has just went up again.
It used to be. It was the lowest one before. It used to be. Nagato used to be higher actually. Shimakaze's used to be $89. Then it went up to 105, and then just before the set hit, it was 117. How much is it now? 139 or higher?
I'm not gonna check, but it's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there now. Not only is it probably the most popular Kantai girl, most popular character, I suppose it has to be one of the best cards.
So sick. Why do you have to be so expensive?
Anyways, this card, good card. If you play Shimikaze, it's like your main level 1 game for some reason. I mean, it's possible, but I wouldn't recommend it. But you know,
I think this card's existence allows you to play only 3 Shimakazes in your deck, not 4, which is nice.
Yeah, I guess so. Assuming you're okay taking the damage, but you know, it's level 1.
Of course you're okay taking the damage.
Level 1, you're probably gonna be fine with it anyways.
I'm like, for people that were playing before the ban list hit for Kantai, Inazuma was something we would have no problem playing. Unless, of course, you were playing Issei Hyuga Climax combo change, in which case you would save your damage for then. But other than that, you were completely okay with playing Inazuma, and this is pretty much more of the same.
Yeah,
except
you just go from Inazuma to Matsukaze to Shimakaze to Shimakaze to whatever card you need now.
Exactly.
Yes, that infinite +1, guys. You're never gonna use another card in your hand again.
No comment. It's obviously not gonna work that well, but it will definitely be a good card. Maybe I actually think there's a possibility that this card will not be a staple in decks, but
the fact that this card actually needs Shimakaze means that anyone who's not playing Shimakaze for some godforsaken reason is not going to use this card.
Yeah, if you're running red-blue. You're running red-blue. But then you wouldn't be running this card anyways because it's not...
It's not red or blue to get this yellow card.
So yeah, that's it for the Kantai cards this week.
So Night Shadow...
Night Shadow's gone.
Yep, Night Shadow had to leave due to reasons. We will not say anything, so we will just continue on. We'll just go to the girlfriend beta TD. Not the booster, TD first.
TD first, yeah.
Yeah, TD first, just to make things simpler. First card is Return Gift for White Day. Blue 1/1 event. Search for a girl trait characters. Show it to your opponent, add to your hands, then shuffle the deck. Place this card to memory.
Nisekoi.
You really had to go ahead and say that.
Yes, I have to. It is Nisekoi.
No, but the thing is, it's a different color.
I know, but...
And the thing is that if you really want to say Nisekoi, that means this card will combo to something else.
We don't know yet.
But I'm pretty sure it's not going to. I'm pretty sure it's not going to.
It doesn't.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to. Even in the
booster. But you don't know. It might combo in the booster, not in TD. So.
Not likely, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not like...
Because if you think a pendant in Nisekoi was like the main thing in the whole damn story.
The title is called Girlfriend and is White Day, and
that kind of implies there's a guy in there somewhere.
You, the protagonist. But that's off topic because we all know how much I hate the game. So,
anyways, moving on. Nervous Visit, Shinui Izuzu, Blue 105K, Girl on Wafuku. During your opponent's turn, this card gains 1k. So during your opponent's turn, it's a 1/06k.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's a TD. We're not expecting like super broken cards.
It's better than 5/5 in my opinion. I don't like 1055s.
Yeah, I think it's better than 1055s, both offensively and defensively, because technically you lose your 500 power offensively to gain one more power defensively. So I think, I mean, like both are equally important, but cards that are surviving means one more turn that this card can gain a stock. So yeah, it's a decent card for TD. So next card, reading Kagami Matsuri, red 229K, girl in sports, vanilla. We should just go on.
Yep.
I'll tell you Konohina Ichigo, red 1055, girl trait, and this card is a 1055 vanilla. We move on. Prayer for improvement, Sasahara Nonoka, red 003. Oh fuck this, is vanilla.
Yep, vanilla all the way.
So we now move to the booster.
Yay, the booster I hate the most. Okay, not anymore. But okay, pretty doll. Asahina Momoko, 9.5k power, 2 soul. Girl music trait. So for every other red character you control to get plus 500. So during your own turn, when this card reverses the opponent in battle, you may pay 1. If you do so, deal 1 damage to your opponent. It's pretty good.
That does kind of technically mean if you're playing this card, your whole deck is mono red. Technically, yes.
Technically, yes, because
being a 160 card booster, that means about 50 to 60 card that you play for red.
And if you look at the other cards, you'll see that monocolor is pretty much the way to go, considering how the game forces you to choose a color to start.
I wouldn't know that.
I tried it for 5 minutes.
Would know that. He said he tried it. Apparently, solo color is a thing in the game, so it might be apparent in the card game as well.
Yep. I mean, it's a pretty good card. Pay 1, deal 1.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's oversized. That can deal 1 damage. It's only during your turn. So it's like during both turns. I thought this card would be too good.
That'll be even better.
So yeah, it's not a bad card. It's a good card.
Yep.
It's a good card.
Yep. Moving on. Careless Mermaid, Sasahara Nonoka. 6k, girl swimsuit. On play, place one of your red characters from stand to rest. It's worth the 6k, in my opinion. Just rest the back row.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Just rest the back row. It has to be a red card, and you have nothing on field, then it has to rest itself. It's not a bad card, honestly, for oversize. So it's not like you're gotta pay some heavy costs unless some combo that requires tap 2 shows up. Not like
so far. Not
so far. So we don't know until later on.
Yeah.
For now, we could just call it decent oversize.
Yep. Next card. Girls Naivety. Shina Kokomi. 3.5k. Girl Wafuku's trait. On play, place top 2 cards in the deck your waiting room. If any of those are Climax, place this card to rest and has hand encore. I don't like it.
You're kind of playing this card to be in the front row, and if you miss, this card goes to rest. So
actually,
you cannot
never mind. It's not. It is actually pretty good.
I know, and I won't say it's not bad. At least it goes to rest. It's not like Sunday waiting room.
Yeah.
Then you have to hand encore to save it.
It's pretty good, I guess.
Late game, I suppose if you're trying to go for game,
if
you hit any mill Climax, it's gonna suck. But
if
you're probably gonna be sending this. You're probably gonna send this into your clock anyways, unless girlfriend has some sort of experience thing going for it too.
No, I mean you can think of it as a quicker way to get the refresh. So
yeah, I suppose so. That's one way.
You can mill too.
I mean, like you do the same thing with Anamazu's Risco.
You do it with the 0-0. What's that Log Horizon character? I don't remember. But
the one with
Marielle. Here we go. Marielle. Moving on. Back against the wall. It's more like butt against the wall. If you ask me, level 3 costs 2. 10k, 2 soul. Girl and sports trait. If you have 4 more yellow characters, just loses 1 level in your hand. When you declare attack with this character, choose one of your characters. It gains 4k, so it can choose itself. When this card is reversed in battle, place this in your memory.
That probably means you can play a mono yellow deck, but we kind of discussed it already. This whole set seems to be based on a mono color set, anyways. So I think you actually split girlfriend as a three split with your friends between three way with just you guys grab one color.
This card, it's pretty good. It could be 14K.
It's too bad the power's not permanent, but that'll be super, super good. It could make another card big. That could be very important.
If they have something kick the clock.
It's a yellow. It's a yellow card. I don't think it's gonna happen.
There's no green.
There's no green, so I don't think. I mean, it could show up in a different. It could show up in a different color, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
You don't know, but there is no green. And -1 level is easy. I mean, honestly.
Just play 4 different yellow cards. You're probably gonna be playing monocolor with this series. Apparently, looking like that right now. So
yeah, it's really easy.
It shouldn't be an issue. This technically is an easy drop.
And even if it gets reversed, I mean,
at least it's card in your memory.
It's in your memory. You get a slight compression, and it doesn't really have any good on-play effects, right? So it's mainly something you want to play at level 2. My opinion.
I mean, like, you won't have an issue playing this at level 3, but you just gotta do it for a 2-soul beater that is 14K that you really have to beat.
Okay, next card. Radiance of Intelligence. Kagurazaka Saya. Level 3 costs 2, 10K. Girl in Glasses trait. When you have 4 or more blue characters, -1 level. Similar and same to the other card. When this card is placed on hand to your stage, this card loses 1.5k power until end of turn. During the start of your draw phase, if this is in your center stage, choose one of the characters, gets 4k. Compared to the other one, it's bad.
Compared to the yellow one, yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. Compared to the red, the level 3 we just talked about earlier, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad because you
want to drop this at level 2.
Yeah.
Because of that lost power.
At start of your draw phase, it's bad. The other one you can just do it on attack much easier that way. I don't see the point of doing it on...
This is more of a defensive card. Oh wait, start of your draw phase?
Yeah, start of your draw phase.
Your draw phase?
No, it's your opponent draw phase.
No, that's not right. It has to be start of your opponent draw phase.
Yep, it is. I don't know why the translation is bad, but start of your opponent's draw phase. So it is just more defensive.
Of course, this card has to live. It has to be in the front row to actually activate. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's honestly probably not the level 3 you're gonna play. Unless you want an early drop card, then there you go.
If you're mono blue, there you go.
If you're looking for an early drop card, or mono blue has a terrible level 2 game, then you probably play this card.
Yep. Moving on. Rabbit that hunts other rabbits. Mochizuki Erena. Level 3 costs 2, 10k. Girl and Cabin trait. This set has tons of traits. If you have 4 or more red characters on your stage, this card loses 1 level in hand, and when this card declares an attack with Climax Strike on your Climax border, I don't think we know what the Climax is right now. And all your characters are red, they're then go for mono. You may play 1. If you do so, choose 2 characters in the waiting room, return it to your hand, and this gets 2.5k into any of your opponent's next turn. So good.
It's technically a +1 combo, but until we know what the Climax is, we cannot really say anything.
You salvage 2 and gain power. You can play this at level 2. It's like, wow. That's wow.
No, I won't say it's bad. I just want to know what the Climax is. If it's a stock one, so then it's practically a 3+1.
It might be a gate.
If it's a gate, then all the more reason to play this card.
Yep, it could be a gate.
By the way, when we mentioned gate, we're talking about comebacks because we're
comeback.
Because it's just we're scrubs. We don't want to talk. I don't want to go for the actual term because I'm so used to gates as being the red Climax because you're an old player.
We all are, even though I'm not that old. Anyways, making sweets. Tamai Remy is just a typical backup with the added effect. When you use this card backup, you may pay 2, send one of your characters on the stage to your waiting room. If you do, if you do, choose one of your opponent's characters whose level is greater than your opponent's level and send it to his owner's stock. Anti-level to stock, pretty much.
This will take care of any card that are some sort of encore. Otherwise, you're only really using this as a I'm not sure. Send it to stock means you're giving your opponent some kind of resource.
Yeah, this is the card that's actually pretty bad because you have to kill one of your characters.
No, chances are you're probably gonna lose your character anyways.
No, I mean, as an added effect, you have to pay 2 and kill one of your characters. It's pretty bad.
No, that's pretty normal. You're either paying 3, you probably just kill a character that died anyways.
I guess, but that
died or stock. Sending it to stock is kind bad. Of it's kind of giving your opponent some kind of resource back for it. And if you're going for a card that gains level higher than just opponent level, that means it already costs them some number of stock. Unless it's one of those cards that's like, oh, let's just give this card +1 level, so no absolute reason.
I personally don't like this one.
It's not. I'm pretty sure someone's gonna play it anyways, but I don't think it's.
No, people are just gonna build the girlfriend decks in the game.
I think
someone's gonna do it.
People's gonna just use this as your anti-change, but and just leave it as your like a last resort. If they can't deal with it any other way, they'll do it.
Next card, Seeking Shelter, Mochizuki Erina, 1/0 counter. When you use this card, it's back up. You may choose a character to gain 1k. So it's essentially a 1/0 2k counter for free.
But this counter is not splittable, so basically it's a 1/0 2k counter that now just made all the 1/1 2k counters totally useless.
Yep. Now everyone just cries.
Is this a rare? No, it's an uncommon card. So that means so that means the set's 1/1 2k counters has now become totally useless.
Can you taste my tears, guys? Okay, moving on. More counters. 2/1 to Brilliance of the Beach. Miyoshi now. Girl and Shunshu trait. When you use this card's backup and order your character to blue, you may place the top card of your deck to your stock.
It's a 25k counter, not just a standard counter, so there is a bit of a power reduction for that free stock. So basically it's a 2/0 25k counter, I suppose. You still need stock to pay it out, of course, but
Yep. I don't know, it's like putting green into blue, which is weird.
It's not bad, unless you stock the Climax, then you cry.
It's blind, so I don't know if they will. It's okay. Considering how it's leveled down, and you might really want to pay out your level.
It could kind of help you build. At the same time, if you stock a Climax, you're gonna cry. It's technically a free 25k counter.
Yeah.
So you can't go wrong with that, especially if you're playing a blue deck. So I guess so, right?
It's a pretty good card.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not super great either.
It's like average.
It's average. I say it's average. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's average.
Moving on. Always sparkling Clolamare. I don't know. It's not even in Japanese. I'm not gonna try. Level 3 costs 10k. Trace Girl. On play, you may heal, and when this card versus an opponent in battle in the Climax, Chihaya Nantoka, which I think we saw last week.
It's the comeback trigger from the TD.
Yeah, comeback trigger. You may pay 2. If you do, deal X, where X is the number of climaxes in your waiting room. It's like this card. When I saw this, I was just
actually, this is a good card because it combos with the gate trigger. Which reminds me, guess that means the last one, the strike, is probably not a gate trigger.
Probably not.
So it heals. You can't go wrong with a healer. So it burns.
Burns for 7.
Or burn for nothing. Technically, that's possible too.
I know, but depending how bad you are at the game, you burn more. That's all I have to say.
The number that burned can provide very could really it's just kind of all over the place.
I know, but if this is level 3, most likely you will have at least one
unless you deck refreshed.
Yeah, but most of the time you will have
at least one. You at least have at least one, probably.
At least one. Let's say 70%, 2 or 3. I think in 2 or 3 climaxes, you'll burn for 2 or 3. If it hits, you could finish the game. So
It's a good card, I said, because it combos with the comeback trigger.
Yep.
It's it heals. You cannot say no to healer even anti-heal meta. Yeah, I mean like that one heal could be the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a burner card, so no, you can't go wrong with it. You really cannot go wrong with it.
Yeah, but when do you think is the best time to use the burn?
Whenever you could either pay out climaxes, so that means it's a guaranteed burn.
I mean, like, what's a good number for X?
Depends on the. Technically, I would say the time you will finish off your opponent. That'll be obviously the best time to do it. The second one would be if you're hitting your opponent up to 3/6.
Okay.
That means they cannot. That means your opponent cannot, clock to draw as a last ditch move to grab whatever combo card they need. That means they have to play whatever card they have now in their hand. You know what I mean. I would say the best time to do it is anywhere between 3/6 to finish on off the game. If you're going, the other best time is just try to knock out any climaxes. Obviously, just doing the damage is better. Of course, it has to reverse the opponent, so that means you're probably gonna be targeting lower power cards.
Would you count the X after you pay the 2, or would it be before?
Sorry?
If you pay 2 and the 2 of them are climaxes, would it be?
It'll be included to the damage because you have to pay first.
Yeah, pay first. So could potentially deal more if you're not paying attention. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this card. It's pretty good. So moving on, we have her daily life Shina Kokomi, blue character 3/2, 10k, and has girl trait. So when you play the Climax Nice Shot, which is a book Climax, you may pay 1 and put 1 card from your hand to your clock. If you do so, this card gains 1k power and the following ability until the end of this turn. This ability can only be activated once per turn. When this card reverses its opponent in battle, you may place this card back to stand, so reach standard. Second effect is when this card fronts attacks, you may look at the top card of your deck and decide to leave it on the top or put it in your raid. So you can essentially control your triggers.
The first effect is actually exactly the same as Kirito from first Sao, except it's worse because you don't gain as much power. That's the top check to waiting room thing. That's good and all, but you honestly have better lower 3s.
I guess, but at least this is the only change, I think.
No, it's all you have. You have all these early drops already, though.
I know. We haven't seen any level 1s for girlfriend yet.
Yes, we have. We have seen that 1-0, but
not many.
Yeah, not many. Yeah, it's only the first week. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So I don't know. I still think it's a pretty good card.
I think it's pretty bad. Just the Climax combo is exactly the same as Kirito, and that was proven not to be very good. If this card gets countered, it actually can't. If it does get countered or it gets anti-damage, then you've like totally lost 2 cards.
Yeah, you can control. You can control damage for.
If your opponent controls its damage, then you've like.
No, because you control your damage, you gotta look at your triggers.
Right, I mean, like you could side a level 1 or level 2.
You can't control your triggers with that though.
No, that's not mean. I mean, like if your opponent uses an anti-damage counter and it hits, if it's like compass or if it's like any 2/3 money. The private money counter, then you just lost every. There's no point restanding this card. I guess you would just to get the stock back.
And if I recall correctly, Kirito, you have to be like a certain amount of damage.
No, that's the Sao 2 version. I was talking about the Sao 1 version.
Okay.
That one was a book trigger and gets 35 in the same effect.
Okay. So, moving on to the changer, which 2/1 neighboring Orihime Shina Kokomi, 2/1 7k, girl trait, change, start of encore step, which I like. It changes to the previous card we just talked about, her daily life Shina Kokomi. And she has act ability. Place 2 of your blue characters to rest. This card does not lose any soul during a side attack until the end of this turn. So, pretty good.
As a changer, it's pretty good because I like encore changes. I like the fact that you just rest 2 blue characters to make this not lose soul when the side attacks. That gives it a gear. That makes it this card capable of changing safely and still do damage.
Yep. And if you realize the change is actually, you don't have to ditch. You just pay 2, which is pretty worth, in my opinion.
Well, you're still paying more stock than you're still paying more stock than usual. But
well, no, but since
it's always one when it comes to encore phases. It's either one of 2 type of changes. It's either you pay more stock or you pay the same amount of stock and lose a card in your hand. Obviously, the former is better because you don't lose a hand. That means it's there's no real net loss.
Well, technically, it's one stock in this case.
But if it was the latter way, it would be 1 stock and lose a card in your hand, which would make it kind of still the same thing, but you know. So yeah, the change is good. Its effect is good. The change itself, I can't say is good. The change target itself, I mean. So and you already have a bunch of you already have a level 3 that drops at level 2 as well.
Yep. So
I guess in a sense you could make the level 3 Sheena 14k for a turn.
Yep, you can. Probably.
So I guess there are options as a big defensive deck. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Moving on. 3/2 girl with memory lapse. Murakami Fumio. 3/2 10k girl and book trait. On play, you may pay 1. If you do, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's waiting room. Return all cards other than the 2 cards you chose into your opponent's deck. Then shuffle his or her deck. Second ability: when this card declares an attack with the Climax made on your Climax border, gain 4.5k power to end your opponent's turn. And the Climax is a gate, which is Pants trigger. I don't. It's okay.
What do you mean it's okay? You choose 2 cards, which is gonna be 2 climaxes, and then return everything else back to the deck. That's like easy uncompression.
What if your opponent was gonna refresh anyways?
You do it anyways.
Yeah.
It's 2 climaxes that's not going to deck. That's not going back into the deck.
Or no, sorry, that was the one card. What if your opponent has nothing?
It depends on the waiting room.
Right?
No, honestly, that really depends on the waiting room itself. Then, I mean, if it's 2 cards. I mean, like, you don't have to choose anything at all and just send everything back.
You could, but why would you send all of your opponent's waiting room back?
First of all, if they play draw phase changes, that instantly screws up their draw phase.
Okay. Draw phase changes. Rarely see them anymore.
What do you mean you rarely see them anymore?
Don't recall seeing any of them.
You don't? I still see lots. Anyways, because you choose 2 and those 2 don't go back in, that means you can choose 2 climaxes. That is an easy uncompression to your opponent's deck. That means it's easier for you to do damage. Your opponent has to find some way to mill or plus soul, and if your opponent is like climax screwed, then you probably just won't do it anyways. I mean, like, I think it's easy free damage. This card is more of a Tech 1, Tech 2 card.
Yep, it's a Tech 1, Tech 2.
I'm not sure if you would like split colors just to get this card in.
You won't. This whole set, I don't know. This whole set just seems mono color. So if you want to split with your friends or something, you should do that, which I might consider right now.
The Climax combo itself, it's okay. Honestly, you probably just use this for the first effect.
Yeah. I mean, Climax combo, sure. If you can get it off. I'm pretty sure you're running Pants to
do something else, honestly.
Yeah, get something else. So you're just running it in case you get it. It's a plus, but if you don't get it, then whatever. Not a big deal.
Honestly, this card can be like really game breaking. This one card can be game breaking in the whole game.
It can.
It can. I mean, like, uncompressing your opponent's deck is the same as doing a lot of damage, possibly.
Yeah, but numbers always lie.
Well,
lie. Just because it's Weiss. We all know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. For this card of the week. Upcoming releases pretty much all the same, unless you guys did not see the English. No, it was announced.
They didn't. It was announced after you guys
after our last podcast. There was an English release for Cell Extra Booster, Love Live Extra Booster, and Kantai in English, and supposedly there's English exclusives, which we don't know what there will be. Adding to that, there's a Milky Homes demo deck. If you want not a trial deck, but demo deck that was like half the size mini deck. It teaches players how to play. And Kantai is out, and Terraformers is out. And Terraformers, you have 8 cockroaches. There are 4 of one art that you saw, and 4 this other art that it was not in our card of the day, card of the week. And that's pretty much it. I think, right?
Well, I thought that is the Girlfriend Beta TD not out too, or is it?
Yes, that's out. Yesterday.
Was it?
Or 2 days ago, 12th.
So the Girlfriend Beta TD is out too.
Yes, it's out already. And yeah, see you guys next time. Rate, comment, subscribe. If you want to be angry at me for hating Girlfriend Beta and taste my tears, then comment down below. And, bye.